Registered representatives offer securities through Securities America, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Financial advisors offer advisory services through Securities America Advisors, Inc. Forest Hills Financial, Inc. and Securities America are separate entities. This is the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenbarger and Bart Steindler.
Good morning. Welcome to the Keep Your Money Show. Jamie Westenbarger, joined as always by Bart Steindler. It is almost October.
This year is just flying by on us.
Right?
No kidding.
Like, how are you doing today, Bart, on the last Saturday of September? That just seems crazy to say.
Well, maybe the last Saturday of September, but it's still $1 million morning. Got to work that in there every week.
I know you do. I know you do. This is the Keeping Your Money Show, where we cut through all the bulls, the booyahs, the bells, whistles, honks, and horns to get you to the information that actually helps you move towards retirement. If you want to find us on the web, you can do so at keepingyourmoney.com. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/keepingyourmoney. Missing part of the show, you can always find it on our website, but you can also find it at all of our partners, iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Just search for the Keeping Your Money Show. Got a great show on deck today. We're going to talk about an article that I found that could be one of the worst articles I've read in a long time, that gives just horrible advice and an example of why media is the last place you should be looking for when it comes to how you should handle your retirement portfolio, why your financial advisor probably has a financial advisor, an interesting discussion on the benefits of maybe just talking things out with somebody else, why Roth IRAs for kids are a great idea. Everyone knows you should have a Roth IRA, but why are more people not taking advantage of some real great benefits of a Roth for their children, and why investing in the next big startup could be a disaster. We're going to talk about home runs and why hitting home runs and investing is not the way to get to a successful retirement. All that and more right here on the Keeping Your Money Show. If you want to contact the show, you can do so by calling us at 888-98-MONEY. That's 888-986-6639, or shoot us an email, info@keepingyourmoney.com, info@keepingyourmoney.com. I do respond to all of those emails myself personally. Real quick shout out to our friend Bill Simonson at The Huge Show. Was on again this week. He likes having me on there to talk football. I think he originally had me on there because, he has a lot of Michigan State people on there, so I think he wanted a Michigan guy on there.
Mm-hmm.
And good talks. So kind of fun to go on there and give not my huge opinion, but my big opinion on what I think about football. And
you got two guys with that are pretty opinionated in the studio at the same time there.
Right. It's a big studio. There's room.
Yeah. Well, it makes for an interesting show. And he has a great take on sports and also kind of bringing sports back to real life and things like that. So enjoy listening to Huge.
Yep. Good guy. So, I'll be on there again. Let's see. The Tuesday before the Michigan State game. Tuesday before the Michigan State game. Check it out. Probably around the 5 o'clock hour. Heard all across Michigan, of course, on the Huge Network. So, again, thanks to Bill for that. So, and speaking of football, we got some big games this week.
We do. We got...
and by big, I mean games that hopefully the home team should win these, or the Michigan-based team should win these.
Right. So Michigan State is taking on Central Michigan University, which it seems kind of late in the season for them to be taking on a MAC team. Okay, so that's kind of odd.
Hey, they've got to get another win in before they start taking on the real teams.
That's right. University of Michigan playing Northwestern. That has potential of being a good game. And a good MAC matchup, Western Michigan University, my alma mater, taking on Miami of Ohio, who's been playing well this year.
There you go. Good football Saturday. So let's talk about advice through media. And I know it seems kind of ironic for two guys that do a radio show about investing to give a hard time to other media that do put out this kind of programming. But if you've listened to the show at all, the last thing we're going to do is tell you what to do, right? Mm-hmm. We don't give you stock tips. We don't tell you what funds to put your money in. we tell you you need to sit down with an independent financial advisor to come up with a plan that works for you, because every single person listening right now is different. You could both be the exact same age. You could have the same family structure. You could work the same job. But the reality is your lives are very different on a number of different levels. So it's impossible to say always or never and when talking to such a large audience. Yet that does not stop the national media from doing it. They regularly put out books, articles, and other things that tell us what we all should be doing.
There are other financial shows which basically have a dictate of what they feel you should do, and they give that to everybody. And regardless of who calls in, the advice is the same.
Right.
And it just blows my mind that's considered okay.
We have a game that we play when anyone comes in from a particular investment company, which I won't name because there's no point in that. I always play this game before I see their statements. I always say, "Oh, you don't even have to show me your statements. I know what you own." And then I guess, and I'm usually pretty accurate. Mm-hmm. And it always blows their mind. Like, how could you possibly know that? And it's like, well, because it's what everyone has.
Everybody that deals with that company has those investments in their portfolio.
So this article is talking about your 401k. And one of the things that I hate about these articles is a lot of times I feel like they're written by people who don't know anything about investing, and they sprinkle in a couple names of people who we know to be, qualified people to try and give like credibility to their article. So this article talks about Nobel Prize winning behavioral economist Richard Thaler, who many people know and have heard his name. It also talks about John Bogle, who is the founder and chief executive of Vanguard. So it talks about a lot of these people like they were interviewed for this article or they contributed to this article, but really they're just kind of window dressing on an article written by someone who doesn't necessarily know a lot about financial planning.
I like this one person they mentioned, and they describe this person as the author of several books on investing, but they don't say what any of the books are.
They didn't have that many words available. But here's the thing, that a couple things that's in this article that if you followed this could be very dangerous for you, okay? Because some of it is just bad information. The first one, they talk about the idea of being a minimalist in your investing, not choosing a lot of investments. They use what they call the 3 investment approach. There's a lot of danger in having a very minimalist approach. And I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of you out there, if you were being honest with me and you explained to me why you own what you own in your 401k, you would tell me it's because of what it did last year. You looked at the 12-year return, you looked at the 1, the 3, the 5, and you picked the ones with the highest numbers. That's how a lot of people pick their funds, right? If they don't have guidance on them.
Right. And a lot of the other way is, my dad's pretty good at this stuff, so I asked him.
Right.
Or I know somebody who's pretty good at this stuff, so I asked them. Or they had somebody at work help us point us in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. If you choose it based on return, though, the likelihood that those investments are very similar to one another in order to have similar returns is high, which means you could end up very concentrated in certain sectors of the economy, the market, the world, where maybe it did do well for a while, but when there's a downturn, those couple investments you own could be very dangerous and could potentially lose quite a bit of money. They make a comment in here too. And it says, as you start nearing retirement, you want to make sure you have more than one investment account. A combination of taxable, tax-deferred, and tax-free accounts is your best bet for maximum flexibility. Well, I 100% agree with you should have tax-free, tax-deferred, and taxable. I don't think you should wait till you near retirement, though. Like, you should be doing that now. Nobody magically turns 55 and decides to get a Roth.
Yeah, you want to be starting that when you start investing, and you when you reach that day, you say, okay, today I'm going to start investing for the future. What's my plan? And then you sit down with an advisor and figure out your plan. And part of that plan is I'm going to set this stuff in tax deferred, and that's going to be part of it. And then I'm going to set this up in taxable, and that's going to be part of it. I'm going to get that Roth started, and that way you're going to have different buckets to draw from when you're in retirement, which can be strategically effective way of lowering how much you pay for certain retirement health care benefits. It could affect how much of your Social Security is taxed, a whole bunch of stuff. So you want to be able to have different buckets to draw your money out of.
Another thing that points out the person that wrote this article has no idea what they're talking about is they wrote the following sentence: the more funds you invest in, the more you'll pay in fees. Overtime fees have the potential to cut into your earnings. Well, quite frankly, unless you're paying loads or commissions up front, that's just not true.
No.
If you have $1 million invested and your average fee is 0.4, and that's all in one fund, or it's in 20 funds, it's still 0.4. It
Right.
doesn't change. They don't add up. You don't add the percentages together. So, I mean, it just shows a basic even lack of understanding of math, in this range. And this is the line I found the funniest. And you'll appreciate this. So they quote Richard Thaler, and they quote him on on saying something that, in my personal opinion, doesn't even line up with the point of this article, because he talks about buying a diversified portfolio, and they're talking about being really simplistic. But then he says this. He recommends scrupulously avoiding reading anything in the newspaper aside from the sports section. Mr. Thayer, I could not agree more.
Yeah.
And skip this article especially. So in their own article, he's telling them to stop reading articles like this. And I'll tell you right now, that is great advice, because the only thing that I read out of this entire thing that made any sense to me whatsoever is, you don't have to know everything at the beginning, and you won't. Just start investing now and save as much as you can. That is the only sentence in this entire article that made any sense and was anything that someone should look at. This is a nationally printed article that is proposing advice to you about your retirement, and I found one sentence that was worthwhile in it. That should scare most people from understanding this is not where you need to be getting your advice.
The best thing in this article is the picture that comes with it, and it's a woman looking at pastries in a pastry shop.
What does that even have to do with anything?
I don't know, but
And those are not minimalist pastries. Those are pretty pricey looking pastries.
Yeah. But
Here's some advice. Don't buy those. They cost too much.
no, they may taste pretty good though.
All right, coming up, we're going to talk about why your financial advisor may have a financial advisor right here on the Keep Your Money Show.
Is your 401k sturdy enough to help support your retirement goals? The Keeping Your Money Show has a team of advisors that will help you size up the assets currently in your 401k and explore asset allocation based on your goals. Call the Keeping Your Money Show today at 1-888-98-MONEY or visit keepingyourmoney.com to learn how you can start solidifying your foundation for a strong retirement plan.